Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. And this was a confusing Sunday for the two of us. I just got a text from Georgio at, what I thought was 1 p.m. over where EST, right? And he's like, I was just waiting backstage. Nothing was happening. And I realized that the time the clocks went forward.
And it didn't for you, so it didn't line up. So I was like, oh, whoops.
We started panicking for a second, hence all the posts that we posted everywhere. But then we realized that YouTube got the time right. So you guys got the time right. It's just us.
Thank God for technology.
Thank God for that. We're both scrambling for a minute.
It's going to mess me up for the next week. I know it will.
It's going to mess me up for the next 2 weeks until our time changes. And my whole schedule is going to go back because of all the readings that I have for US and Canada. So
that's right. Yeah, it's so messed up how they don't just do it at the same time.
I don't get it. I don't understand because I don't. It's so confusing. First of all, why do we need daylight savings time nowadays? We're not farmers anymore.
It messes with your whole routine and schedule.
I know they did it for energy efficiency and to help the farmers who were out, with their crops and everything. But now, obviously we do have farmers, but we live in 2023. We just don't want to change times anymore. Anyways, I digress. It's a nightmare. Hey, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey's in the house, guys.
Jeffrey's in the house, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, a quick one. Happy Sunday. Yes. We're all happy to be here because we have more drama, as always. It's never ending, especially with the Vanderpump rules, guys, people. Yes, please follow Georgio too. Everything's down below in the description box as well. If you want to book a reading with me, a private reading, you can just go ahead to my website and you can check out what services I offer, because I do offer psychic readings, mediumship readings, coaching, half-an-hour readings. Just see what you guys want, and then you can use the form to contact me. And of course, last but not least, I want to remind you that I do have a rescue funds for the rescue animals here in Greece. So if you want to donate, instead of donating to this channel, you can always donate there. This is a separate PayPal account to mine because I don't want to mix those. And please do. And I will, as soon as I get a set amount on PayPal, then I will start maybe a separate or subdivision or some kind of vlogging where I do show you what is being done with your donations, what we're doing as volunteers with the pets, various different cases. There is a case right now, just digress, but this is quite disturbing. Someone dumped a little baby white tiger by the dumpster, by the garbage bins outside the zoo here in Athens. Okay, the poor little tiger is paralyzed. They don't know who got this tiger, how they got it, how they brought it in the country, why this poor little baby tiger is in such a bad state. There's a whole thing. I'm gonna try to get involved in this case because it did touch my heart. And so if you guys want to show any send in donations, I will also send some of your donations over there to the animal shelter that is now taking care of that baby tiger. They're trying to bring it back to life per se, because it was in a very bad state. So I don't want to dampen the mood. I'm just saying that if you guys want to donate, this is the types of cases that your donations are going to go to. And also, of course,
awful.
It's awful. It's awful. Now there's lots of people are wondering, how did they, obviously they got this tiger from the dark web, but how did they bring the tiger in? Because I think it was 10 years or 9 years ago, they did forbid circuses from using live animals. And I absolutely agree with that, which is why I hate circuses. I don't go to circuses. I don't go to aquarium. I just don't go anywhere where you have caged animals or animals that don't belong there. So it's a whole thing right now. So I will try to get involved and see what is going on with that case. But anyway, let's move on to different topics. Hello, everyone. Hello, Romo.
Hello, Romo.
Data is in the house.
Data.
Chantel. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Chantel.
Oh, he's in work. Data is he's at work right now, Data. Oh, well, I'm glad you're watching, listening. Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday, Pepe.
Yeah, poor little tiger. Yes, they're trying to save it. I think they will be able to save the poor baby. But it's just horrible how
it's so disgusting.
Disgusting, absolutely. But anyways, Georgio, how are you? And please fill us in with this week's news in the Bravo universe. What is up?
Well, there's been nothing but Sandoval on everyone's lips for, the obvious reasons. The last thing that we know, or the last bit of it really, is that Sheena she does have legal representation. She actually put out a statement via her lawyer, and he is basically saying that obviously this is not true, that she did not punch her allegedly in New York after Watch What Happens Live. Also, just before that, there was a friend of theirs that was with them and is claiming that Raquel had that darkness around her eye prior to Watch What Happens Live. So the only thing that I saw in the photos that TMZ released that, Rachel, Raquel, whatever, that, she was paid for. She's clearly, following her PR's strategy of looking like a victim. So she sends these photos, and there is a scratch in the inner part of the eyebrows. Everyone's probably seen at this point, but it's definitely going to be very interesting. Also, the hearing for the judge, because Rachel did get a temporary restraining order. So they don't have their court date to both be in front of a judge until the 29th of March, which is going to make the reunion sticky, because that means one of the ladies can't be physically present to do the reunion on the 23rd, which is when they're scheduled to film. Plus, they're filming right now, obviously. They want to keep this all in for season 10.
I'm so glad, though. Is it going to be season 10, or are they going to add it sort of like towards the end of the season, where they're just going to add?
Well, as most of these shows, they edit as they release them, because depending on what happens, they can shift things, the edits and things like that. So what I think they're doing is they're going to probably add like an episode or two towards the end. Obviously, it's going to have to follow the timeline, but there's clearly going to be a moment where they're going to be able to insert this, and it'll probably be closer to the finale, I would think, because this is what has happened since they stopped filming.
The reunion is in 2 weeks, right? Or am I mistaken?
Yes, it'll actually be filmed. What's tomorrow? The
13th.
So yes, 2 weeks. 23rd is when they're scheduled to film it.
Interesting. Now, going back to the black eye, remember we talked about it last week, where I did ask the cards what's going on, and I did, because you asked, because the rumor was going around, was it Sheena at the end of the day?
Yeah.
And I said, I feel a male energy. And remember I said that, and then people were assuming maybe it was Brock, maybe it was someone else. Here's the thing. I will agree. I think it's an older sort of black eye or injury. And when I mean, because I had some time to think about it during the week, even before it was confirmed that it wasn't Sheena, or it wasn't confirmed, but we now know it's probably not Sheena, right? Could it? Okay, this is a bit out there, but that's typical me. Could it be possible that that was done by Tom Sandoval, not on purpose, not like, aggressively, but during sex play? So she's using it to her advantage. Just saying, just putting it out there, just sprinting it out there.
Anything is possible as I am learning lately, but
Mhm.
what I question, so here's the thing. If in fact, let's just say I do believe there was a scuffle, okay?
Okay.
Kristen Doty, who is back filming, by the way, uh, in support of Ariana, but she on her podcast last week did clarify that, Ariana did get the phone via somebody who saw it fall out of Tom's pocket. So that was true. The reason
Mhm.
why she went into the phone was because she had a gut feeling that she needed to look at what was in the phone, specifically the photo section, and she found what
Mhm.
she needed to find. However, the other part to this is when Sheena found out, Kristen said that she did throw her phone in like the gutter. Like there was a report that she
Mm.
had thrown her phone out into the street, whatever have you. So that did happen. So I do believe there was a scuffle between the two, but I don't believe that there was a punch in the eye. Also, Sheena is much shorter than Rachel is. So even if she punched her, she would punch up. She'd more than likely hit the outer part of the eye, not the inner part of the eye. I'm just
Good point.
theorizing.
Good
But
point.
I also feel like this happened in New York on Wednesday night after Watch What Happens Live, right? I've
Mhm.
lived in New York, there's an urgent care on every half a block. You can literally find one, literally, you can't miss them. Um,
Mhm.
there was no police report.
That
Why?
yeah.
Why? If my now let me put it in bigger perspective. They are coworkers on a work trip, mind you. This is a work trip, not a personal trip where they were just in New York together
Good
and
point.
then they found out. They were on a work trip. So, if regardless of whether Sheena was right in her feelings for reacting, let's just say Rachel gets punched allegedly.
Mhm.
Well, I would have called the police. I would have documented it via the police, and then I
Right.
would have left the scene after the police report was done and gone to an urgent care, got it documented the same night. Then I would have called, my lawyer. And then when I got back, I would have gone and done what she did.
Agree.
I'm not saying she's right or I'm on her side. I'm just giving you guys the this is what someone who is concerned would do. Just like in a car accident, you don't just leave, you get a police report. You
Mhm.
call your insurance the at the moment it happens, not days later. You take the necessary steps. She did none of those things other than, in my opinion, sell stories to TMZ to try to get this whole
Mm.
victim narrative going. She waited until she got back to LA on Thursday. She didn't go to urgent care until Saturday. So you mean to tell me that you waited from the time like Wednesday night late all the way until then Saturday, then you decided to go in and seek care
Mm.
for it or whatever. So I think those are the things that are
Yeah, a
not
lot is not
adding
right.
up with all of this. And it makes sense why the new PR team dropped her for inconsistencies within her story around the black eye.
Good point. Those are very good points, and I agree with you. And I want to pull up a little bit Rachel's chart. Okay, let's have a quick look at your face, Georgia. You're like
This is gonna
already
be
like okay,
hilarious.
and now I've got Sandoval's too. So let's have a little peek into their astro charts. This is gonna be interesting, people. So Raquel is a Virgo. Okay, 10th house Virgo. Okay, that's fine. So she's very much, what does that mean? Hold on. Let me have a quick check here. 10th house in Virgo. What does that mean? Self-image, reputation, status are important for her. Just saying, all right? She might not be as innocent as we all think. I always said that she's naive, but naive doesn't necessarily make you innocent, a victim, or anything of these things. Okay, let's keep going. Right. Moon in Sagittarius. When I saw that, I'm like, oh dear. Okay, I'll get to you guys. Hold on. Let's have a look at her Venus. She has a lot of Scorpio, as you can see. A lot of Scorpio.
Mhm.
She's got Venus in Scorpio. She's got Jupiter in Scorpio. She's got Pluto and North Node in Scorpio. Scorpio can, with these placements here, all right, because Pluto, well, no, let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter is luck, growth, all that. But Scorpio has a tendency to look inwards, and that's why they have sometimes like self-destructive tendencies, because they do take things in and they try to process and work their emotions that way. With Jupiter in what house? Let me check real quick. We've got in the 12th house. It seems to me that she's someone who learns only after major situations, drama, challenges. She has to get to a very low point in order for her to grow from it and learn from it. I want to see real quick. So let's look at her 7th house, because the 7th house is relationships and marriage. Taurus. Okay, she's very much about, it seems to me like she's more, her surroundings is important. Relationship is important. Being in a stable long-term relationship is important, which would probably explain why she was with James Kennedy for that long. Okay, because that was a mismatch in my opinion, but like moving on, right, Georgio?
By leaps and bounds, yes.
By leaps and bounds, I agree. And then we've got her Venus in Scorpio. That is a tough placement because she does tend to, she's attracted to men, how I see it in her chart, intuitively as well, not just astrologically. She tends to be attracted to more the men that are more dark and they have a lot of layers on them. And certainly men who they're not as emotionally invested in her, if that makes sense. Like she likes to chase after men, but not in the sense like, but like she likes to demand or do things to get the attention. She doesn't like to get the attention without her putting the work in, if that, I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Let me have another look here. I wanted to look at her so 7th house is in a Taurus, and then 8th house, which is birth, sex, and death, but it's very much a sexual house. It's in Gemini. Guys, the Bambi eyes and all that, from looking at her chart, she seems to be a little bit kinky in bed. Like, she likes fun and games, and, she's not all that innocent or all that pure, and that's fine. I know people that are just like appear one way in everyday life, and they might have like kinks and weird stuff going on behind closed doors. We're not here to judge. I'm just saying that maybe we should sort of, I mean, we're all just moving past this whole facade that she's putting on, the innocent little Bambi doe-eyed look.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel that there is a lot more going on in Raquel's head and emotional world than we thought. She's got a Venus Scorpio. Let me have a quick look. Where is ascendant? Okay, it doesn't come up here. Pluto in Scorpio. Oh, wow. And then we've got Mars in Cancer. Mars is again sex and physical strength and actions. And guess who's Cancer? Let's bring him up. Sandoval. Sandoval. Now, I wasn't surprised to see that his moon is in Gemini. He does typical moon Gemini. Disassociates for feelings, does not get attached, does not get attached. Okay. And also looking at his Mars, he's got Mars in Cancer too, guys. See that? His 7th house is in Aries, and then his eighth house, no, 7th is in Pisces. Oh my God. And then you've got, yeah. And then you've got, hold on, Lilith Aquarius, Saturn Libra, Uranus Sagittarius. He's got a lot of Sag. So Sandoval is, we all knew that, but that's confirmed by his chart. He is someone who's very self-centered. He wants the world and people to revolve around him or circle around him. It does shows me whenever I see this chart, like with this chart, with this Sag, these placements here, he keeps secrets. He's not like, he likes to have like a hidden side. Even if he was married and he had kids right now, and we all thought that his life is stable and he's doing well and everything's structured, he would still have a dark corner somewhere in his life where he keeps secrets. He thrives on that. He's got that, I feel, and that's why we'll see. But another prediction, and I said it last week, I do see Raquel getting pregnant, talked about this. I wouldn't be surprised if they did some kind of like ceremony, like pretend marriage or something like that. But obviously, I don't think it will last. Okay, it's not going to last because Sandoval, looking at this, he's never going to be. Look, he's got Libra and Saturn Libra, Pluto Libra, 7th house Pisces, 8th house Aries, 1st house Virgo, which is everything is about his self-image.
Yes.
Sun is ego, it's self-image, it's first impressions. It's like, I want to appear a certain way, which is not necessarily who I am, but I want to be this way because I want the world to like me and because I want to be famous. I do want the limelight. So you guys, the what a shit show. Excuse my language.
It really is.
Help it. 11th in Leo. He's very self-centered, very narcissistic. We knew that. We can see it. But I don't see how this is going to work with Raquel because she's got so much, these Scorpio placements that she has. He will, at some point, now they're still on honeymoon, this is the whole like, sneaking around, which can be sexy and can be exciting and can be passionate. But now everything's out in the open. So
that's what I was saying. I think I said this in my podcast episode for this week. It was like, was this exciting because it was a secret between just you two and, the high of like the lightning bolt necklaces, which Kristen did also confirm those were a real thing. They both wore lightning bolt necklaces to signify their love for each other. But now that it's out in the open, can it withstand all of this pushback?
Good. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. I do feel that Sandoval did want to get caught. I think it was his way out. He didn't know how
Probably
to
glad.
Yeah. Because who has an affair for almost a year, over a year, maybe even, this is what I feel, and just keep like very like sexual videos of your mistress, who is your wife's or your partner's best friend, on your phone? Are you trying to pass on a message? Are you doing this on purpose? I just feel that Sandoval, he's not that dumb, you guys. He does appear like he's in his own little bubble, but I do think that somehow this was kind of like what he wanted to happen.
I think he's strategic for TV, but I don't think that I think he thought he was going to have time to just tell Ariana right before. This is what we're told that he was going to tell her right before the reunion, which I don't know how that was going to make it better. Maybe better TV, yes, because the reaction would have been raw, but that's also foul. Like, why would you do that to her right when she's about to film? So you're not going to give her any time to process anything, but now it's come out and you are refusing to film because you're afraid to be, you didn't like the way the scene went with you and Raquel. So,
Right.
uh,
I don't know. I honestly think that, deep down, he's enjoying the attention, even though it's bad attention that
yeah.
he's getting right now. Because he's like, I'm going to make this work for me. It's going to work out for me. Because there are certain people that do side with the villain. They do.
And there have been people that are defending. I know a lot of people in my comments are like, who's actually a Raquel stan? There's a lot of them. Whether they're vocal, they're in my DMs every day. When I call her Rachel, I'm getting like, people are like literally pissed off because they feel like it's hypocritical when this cast has been known for cheating. But although I agree with that, this circumstance is different. It is. I'm not saying cheating's okay in any form, but I'm saying in this situation, the reason why people are so angry is because, unlike Kristen, because people keep referencing Kristen when she was with Tom, well, this is how Ariana got. That's not necessarily, yes, to some degree, but they were both cheating on each other for quite a bit, Kristen and Tom. So it was a young, stupid, toxic relationship. Ariana and Tom bought a house together. They have businesses together. We're talking about almost a decade of time that they've been together. And then all of a sudden, your friend that you support, we've seen it where, every time Raquel's doing something, Ariana's in the background. Coincidentally, Tom's also in the background, but now we know why. But for Ariana, this is more than a gut punch because it's also public. You've publicly embarrassed her, made her look and feel dumb. That this person that she thought was her best friend is literally going behind her back and doing this. So I think that's where the anger from the viewers is coming from. It's like, oh my gosh, the audacity and the lying that you guys did with a straight face for this long, like that's traumatic.
But they both knew what they were doing and what the reaction would be when they got caught. Because if they did not want to get caught, they wouldn't get caught. If you don't want to get caught, you don't get caught. Eventually, the truth comes out. Okay. But this is what it was because they both didn't have the cojones or the balls. Well, Tom didn't because it's not Raquel. Although, if they were that close, if you're a good friend and you do feel bad about your friend and you feel guilty, but you can't help yourself because you're so sexually attracted to Tom Sandoval, you'd say something. You'd do something, because you're friends because you respect each other. You're not friends just because you're drinking buddies. Otherwise, you're just drinking buddies. If you call yourselves friends, that means you have to have each other's back. Say you slipped up and you slept with her husband, her partner, whatever. You've got to make it right. You've got to bloody make it right.
You've got to take the accountability and you've got to just take it for what it is without excusing it. And I think that's the thing.
Yes.
This is why I don't like the celebrity statements because they mean nothing. They've come after you've been exposed on something. So it's great that they're both in therapy, as they say, but we don't need to know every little step and thing that you're figuring out about why you've done what you've done. Just figure it out and go do it. You know what I mean? Like she's such a victim mentality. The both of them, really.
They absolutely, I agree with you. We'll answer Danny's question. I want to say that while we're talking, I did feel Ariana's energy and I did pull a few cards about Ariana. So here's the good news. Ariana, guys, will be just fine. Okay. Now it's shocking. The attention's on her, on Tom. Everything is a mess. But she's very strong. She'll come out of it much better than she went into this relationship. I can tell you. Look at this. Everyone is banding around her. She's got the support from her friends and from the rest of the world. She is going to move past it. Okay. she's going to be just fine. And here's the thing, though. She's not going to let it go. She is going to go after. I do feel lawyers are going to be involved. So whether it is because they share a house, or they have to figure out how they're going to divide the property. Right now, it's not the best time to sell. Okay, it's not the real estate market. It's not at its peak right now. So, but I do see, because they do have money tied down with Sandys and Schwartz. So there's a lot. It's very complicated. We are going to see this play out legally, but Ariana, guys, she's going to go through a sort of like, I don't know, like epiphany. We're going to see her change. I feel she's going to change her looks. I feel she might start like wearing her makeup differently. She's going to have her hair differently. We're going to see a very renewed Ariana. So actually, this is turning out, the way I'm reading this, it's going to turn out great for Ariana. Okay. She needed to get out of that relationship. It was
a joke. He was not the guy for her. People are happy for her in that regard. They're like, you know what? This forced you out of a situation that you could just do so much better. And I do see this doing wonders for her.
Yes. And we'll see her now. She can come out with her own cocktail.
Yes. So many people pointed that out. Yeah. So he doesn't have to ride her coattails.
Yeah, enough already. Georgio, do you want to explain to Danny why everyone's reacting this way? Because I want to pull some cards while you're doing that.
No, it's a really good point. And it's so, yes, obviously this specific cast, when the show started, it was centered around cheating, right? We had the big cheating scandal, with Jax. I mean, Jax was pretty much the villain from day one on this show, in terms of like his sneaking around, as Giselle would call a sneaky link. But again, I think the reason, back then the show was not as media crazy. People weren't interested enough in the cast. I think if this show had something like that situation in the beginning of Vanderpump Rules come out, it would be just as newsworthy, if that makes sense. But I understand the point is like, yes, they've all had cheating scandals one way or the other. Kristen had a cheating scandal with Jax. Everyone's dipped in everyone's pond at some point. However, like I was saying, this particular situation, the way the season's being laid out, is that Raquel is finding herself by dating all these different guys, right? We started off with Peter. Then we go from Peter to now she's flirting her way over to Schwartz, which is pushing some boundaries with Katie. And that was the big salacious thing for the season, was like, ooh, Rachel's really like, she's not this innocent fawn in the woods. Look, she's being a little messy. She's, doing this and that. And then we just saw in this last week where she was making out with Garcelle's son, Oliver, who works at Vanderpump Paris, claiming on that episode he's separated from his wife, although his wife is saying a whole different tune that wasn't the case. But nonetheless, so we see these this pattern that we're building out for Raquel or Rachel's storyline. This wasn't part of it because there's not any. Do you know what I'm saying? So now that it's happened, also people are seeing the way that Raquel was treated when she first came on the show, when she dated James. People were not nice to her. Ariana was one of the few that was nice and supportive and was inviting her and trying to get her in there. So I think people, as the viewer watching it, being like, oh no, Ariana doesn't deserve this. You've taken it too far now. Like we thought you were just being messy with doing the stuff with the other guys just for the show. We get it. You need a storyline, but like, okay, now slow down. You're literally like having a full-blown affair with someone. So this isn't even like a messy one-night stand that just came out on the show. So that's the difference. In the past, it was like people were drunk and like sleeping with people on the couch while their partner was in the other room. This is like, you guys bought matching necklaces and you're canoodling for 7 months behind everyone's back and in their faces lying to them, being like, I love you. You're such a good friend to me. You're such a this. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, the twisted part that's kind of gotten people's, and we're also in a different time and emotions are heightened and people's opinions are a little bit more heated.
Vocal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's true. And also remember, because Tom did cheat on Kristen with Ariana. No, we didn't have that. First of all, it was very early in the show, so we hadn't forged these relationships with the cast, right? But the way Ariana and Tom handled that, when obviously Kristen was never really the favorite on the cast, but she was a little bit unhinged, which I don't mind. But I just feel that Ariana and Tom handled it much better back then. And Ariana was not Kristen's friend. You know,
that's the other point. They weren't friends
yeah.
either. Not that it makes it better, but they also moved on from that, the two of them.
Yeah. And they also moved on from the Miami girl.
I want to talk to the Miami girl now.
You should.
I need to find her. Someone find her and send her my way. I would love for her to weigh in on all of this. That would be so interesting. Remember how we like brushed that under the rug?
Yeah, because like Sandoval brushed it under the rug. That's
I know, but I'm
why.
surprised the producers didn't really go there, because they literally just was in and out with her. And then now I'm looking back and I'm like, I wonder what. But yeah, so.
Yeah, good point. Now, really quickly, while you were talking, so what is like, so I asked the cards and I wanted to see what's up now for Sandoval and Raquel, right? Sandoval is like, yeah, he's upset. Obviously, he's upset because the world hates him right now. Everyone's onto him. It's a disaster. He's obviously going to put, when we see him, he's going to put on this like confident face. He's going to act, you know, like, yeah, you know, I'm in love. Yeah, I know why I did this. I wouldn't have, you know, destroyed the relationship I had with Ariana if I didn't have genuine feelings for Raquel. This is what he's going to come out and say. Like, he's really going to push that narrative like, oh, we're in love. As I said last week, I don't feel he's in love. Okay, he's not. I don't see it. Doesn't come up. I don't feel his energy. What he's going to try to do, though, here's the thing. He's going to try to clean up his image. He's going to clean up his reputation, his name, and everything. And it's going to be so friggin' unsuccessful. It's going to backfire, and it's going to be a mess. If Sandoval thinks, and I'm very tough on him today, and I don't care, because that crappy behavior is it's unforgivable, right? So he's going to try, because obviously I don't think he's going to come back to, at least maybe he might be given a little bit of a break from Vanderpump Rules. We'll see. Maybe they give him like the friend of, like in Housewives role or something like that. I don't see him coming back in the capacity that he is now, back to the show. He will try to maybe, you know, lay low for a while and then come back with a spinoff or with his band or podcast, which is this new thing that everyone's doing right now. When they're out of work, they just, you know, create a podcast. But anyways, it's going to backfire majorly. If Tom wants to be back in the limelight and he wants to come back to our TV or reality show, it's going to take at least 5 years. Mark my words, you heard it here first. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out.
I wonder how this would pan out, because especially for like Rachel, who's going to film with her?
No one's going to film with either of them. Look at them now. Look at Kristen. Look at Sheena. Look at Lala. Look at Katie. They're all coming together. It does feel mob mentality. It does feel a little bit like a mob mentality that they're doing. But I understand it. I'm not approving it. I understand why the girls are so protective over Ariana.
Yeah.
I understand that. Most of them have been cheated on themselves, so they know what it feels like.
It hits different when it's one of your own people. You know what I mean? Like, It's just like when when the age-old question, when a father's running around being like that and they have a daughter, and the question is, how would you feel if someone
Right.
treated your daughter this way? It's always like, well, that wouldn't fly. And it's like, oh yeah, it's always different, isn't it? When it happens. But yeah, so it's very much a mob mentality. I will say this. I do appreciate the friendship there, that
Same.
they band together regardless of how it looks at times, because quite honestly, I think that's also an honest thing that groups of friends go through.
Yeah.
When one is down, you pull together, and it's not always right, the reactions from some of them, but it's like your own little family, and they have to come in and try to patch up the wound where they can. And I think they're in protective mode for obvious reasons, because they know that he's such a narcissistic liar.
Mm-hmm.
She shouldn't be around him at all, especially right now where she's vulnerable. So I think it's good that she's trying to stay away.
I agree. And Raquel, okay, she's in love with him.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
attracted to him. She's in love with him. The same cards like last week. Nothing's changed. She sees him as a god. Like she's like a little fangirl, like a little groupie. This is she's in love with that idea. I don't think she's like deeply in love with him,
No,
but
she has
she's
the idea of him.
the idea of him, like
He's like a
seeing
rock
that
star, like he's on stage and he's singing her secret
right.
songs.
Right, but she wants to have a family with him.
So wait, you guys, if she gets pregnant, next season's going to be lit. They might keep her on.
Yes. Oh, they will. Oh, they
They're not
will.
going
At
to
least
let that
her.
story go.
At least her. But guys, she wants to have a family with him. Rachel, Raquel, wake up. As Storm says, you lose them the way you get them, girl. It's just,
But
what are
that's
you
the
doing?
thing. You know what? Not to go back to how Ariana messed around with Tom a little bit. Listen, the thing is, they didn't mess around for 7 or 8 months.
No.
These two were in a full-blown relationship. So in Raquel's mind, what is she how does she not get paranoid that if he could do this for 7 months with someone, how am I to know that he's not going to get bored in 6 minutes and do the same thing to me? Because he will.
He will, but that's the mistress. I don't like the word mistress, but we'll use it now. Or the lover's mentality or psychology is that, oh, for him to cheat on his wife or girlfriend with me, that means I'm special. That means I'm different. That means he's
Mhm.
got more feelings. So they do, and this is a female thing because we're very nurturing. We do because we're moms. We give birth to children. It's a biological thing as well. We do want to fix people. We do want to nurture people. We do feel that we can change our boyfriends, husbands, sons, friends, whatever it is. So
Mhm.
that is sort of like a more of a natural instinct or natural way of doing that. Like where probably Raquel thinks like, oh, he's into me. And for him to cheat on Ariana and do this for so long, that means that he will never do this to me because I'm the special one. I'm the one he chose. He chose me over Ariana. So that's
Mhm.
that false, that's that illusion. Pisces season, Saturn and Pisces, a lot of that illusion going around. Thinking that one situation is great, or you have that illusion of you're trying to make it work, but at the end, you have like a rude awakening, realizing that you were living in a bubble in an illusion. This is what's happening with Raquel. What my question to out there is who's protecting Raquel from these decisions? Where are her real friends? Her real friends, her actual friends, her childhood friends, her sisters, brothers, whatever. They should help her, tell her to keep low, stop posting every day a different apology, stop messing it up. They should completely sort of isolate her away from Tom, away from the Vanderpump Rules world, and get her the therapy that she needs and give her the love that she needs, because obviously she needs a lot of love and attention, because all this is what led us to where we are now, is the lack of love, attention, and affection.
I think it's clear that she is addicted to men that are not available. She's one of those,
Yeah.
she needs something that's not hers to validate. It's not enough to just have a normal single guy validate that. It's, oh, my best friend's man likes me and wants to be with me. Oh, yes. It's like that. So I think she's whether or not she's really figuring it out in therapy, Godspeed. I don't want her to be physically harmed. Like I don't agree with the violence and the tirade. Like, have I been trolling her a little by calling her Rachel? Yes, but I'm not alone in that. Her name legally is Rachel. It's not like I'm just making it up. However, there are a group of people out there that are really kind of, you know, like this is their man that she took, and it's like you gotta calm down a little bit, lady. Like you can't get this angry. Like I had people in my DMs being like, she is gotta go. This is the problem with X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, the story is not new. So many women have been through this where the best friend ends up with their husband or partner. It's not an old story. It's just
I agree. And Storm is right. He says like this is it's how you value and you see yourself. And usually when you value, respect yourself, you love yourself, you wouldn't be putting yourself in a situation like that. Or at least if you have feelings for Tom, have a conversation with Ariana. Or I don't do anything about it and just try not to spend as much time with them because it's, I don't know, it hurts you.
Or be honest and say, I need to distance myself. I'm starting to have feelings for your man.
Exactly. I mean, you need to be brave to do that. I understand it needs courage for you to come out and say it. But if you've got morals, where's your moral compass?
But if you're saying it and distancing yourself, you're taking accountability before you'd make a stupid decision. So ultimately, the other person, they may not like it, but they have to respect that you were honest about it.
I agree. You would get respect. And also your partner will respect you more. Like your ex-partner is going to respect you more. And at least there will be a small chance for you guys to end this relationship or marriage, whatever it is, amicably, and at least have a sort of like a normal, especially since it's the same friend group. We're talking about people hanging out together all the friggin' time. It's a mess. But with all those Scorpio placements, she's very sexual. She's very, again, I will just put it out there. Okay. She's not that, she expresses herself through sex. Perfectly fine. That's fine. I mean, you're in LA. There's so many men.
I know. And she's not like some ugly duckling. So, like, really, girl, you can't find some other guy that isn't a band? There's like 700 bands, people in LA that start bands. Give me a break. Like,
find yourself a real celebrity. Like, if you want,
level up. Tom doesn't have anything. That's the other thing. It's like, what do you do? Like, you're not even leveling up. You're just literally gonna be with someone now who's gonna have debt.
So true.
But she'll get bored. She's young though. She'll figure it out and then be like, oh, I'm not gonna waste my time with him.
Well, let's hope she's got like a group, like her family and her friends are there to support her and she will listen to them. That's another thing. Because the way I feel it, she's so in love. She's so into this like love bubble, to quote Tree. She's so much in her love bubble that she doesn't want to listen to other people right now because she thinks she knows what's best, because she believes what Tom tells her. She believes Sandoval because Sandoval's going to say, let's lay low now until this gets forgotten. And then after the reunion, we can start dating. Who knows? Who knows? But she's listening to him right now. And because he is narcissist, he manipulates. Okay, allegedly.
Of course.
So.
Well, I know we only have a few minutes left, but I do want to touch on this legal letter from Brandi's lawyers regarding Shed Media and Warner Brothers. Now, I'm not going to read you guys the whole entire thing. I did read the entire thing on my YouTube channel. If you do want to go check it out, it's pretty lengthy, but, and I have it right here because I printed it out so I could read it, but it's about 2.5 pages. And so if you're not familiar, there's been kind of a ban on Brandi and kind of working with Peacock, Warner Brothers, Shed Media, because of the last Ultimate Girls trip, there was some allegations that came out around SA regarding Brandi towards Caroline Manzo. Now, Caroline's not come out with any statements, so we don't really know what her stance is on this, but reports allege that, she was SA'd while they were filming. Caroline was very uncomfortable. It triggered her. And so she, that's when this whole, I guess, HR investigation happened around what really happened and this, that, and the other. So this letter now surfaces because Brandi, even with all that, kind of was hinting at the fact that this wasn't true, but didn't really say anything. And now we know why, because she's got legal representation that is basically in this letter is basically calling out Shed Media and Warner Brothers for a couple things. First thing is they allegedly advised Brandi not to get any legal representation during this whole thing, which that's a red flag to me. I'm sorry if that's true. That's a red flag.
Agree.
Secondly, it's clear reading this for the amount of times that they are referencing it. So in the gist, this letter is basically asking that Shed Media and Warner Brothers pull the full audio and video recording to basically disprove this serious allegation that's impacting Brandi and her being able to have these opportunities, because there was talks that she was going to film for Beverly Hills. She didn't end up going to the Traders reunion to film that because of this. I doubt she's going to get picked up to do anything else. So it looks like the lawyers are asking that they turn over this video, because in the video they claim that you will see Caroline being very comfortable with the ladies. For example, they pull an example where there's I guess a scene where the ladies are grabbing onto Caroline's lady bits to prove that they're not like fake, like when people are like, oh yeah, so they were doing that and she was comfortable with that. And then even when her and Brandi were playfully joking around, she said that the video and audio will prove basically that those allegations that became public are not true. And if they basically don't do anything, they're going to have to push forward. But I don't know. This letter means that there's some serious information I feel is being left out of this. And it's almost seeming like this is to paint Brandi in a negative way, to the point where it impacts her ability to make money.
I pulled cards while you were talking because I wanted to know what's the situation between Brandi and Caroline. What happened? I don't know if you might know this. I don't know. I haven't heard of anything like that. But what I'm seeing is probably at the beginning of the trip, they didn't get along. They might have started off on the wrong foot. Brandi and Caroline, we all know Brandi is foul-mouthed sometimes, and she's too much in your face, which Caroline could have.
Not unlikely.
Very unlikely. But I do feel that as they were towards the end of the trip, as they were working out, I feel they came closer. They did work out on the relationship. They started liking each other. Things were just getting much better. And I do believe that there was some kind of sexual situation there. This is not a lie. And probably why Brandi wants that video to come out. I see it, you guys. So there is that sexual innuendo, or I don't know how you want to call it, like tension. But how I see it and what I'm being shown, and I do feel that Brandi, in her mind, she wasn't being forceful. Okay. When it comes to that, what happened in that bathroom, it was in true Brandi nature. Okay. But it was playful. It was towards the end of the trip, etc. But Caroline did not appreciate it. It was just really, but here's the thing. I don't know if Caroline has had, this is what comes up. Again, for entertainment purposes only, don't come after me, Caroline, for just saying this, but I will, because I always do. Something triggered Caroline, okay? Because it was all fun and games in the beginning, and I just feel that it went, just Brandi doesn't know how to stop. Like Brandi has no boundaries. She just takes a joke or takes something playful and she takes it to the extremes. I feel something triggered Caroline from her past. So she may have had some kind of experience or situation of SA
Mm-hmm.
in the past. What it was, it really totally triggered her. I'm not saying Brandi isn't right here. No one's like, there is no right or wrong. It's wrong altogether because two people are now in shambles. They're very affected by this. She's got two kids to look after. This is affecting her future income. But this is what I'm getting. Okay, so, and I feel that Brandi wants those videos, the video or the audio, whatever it is, to be released because she wants to prove, hey guys, I wasn't being malicious. I wasn't being saying. I was just
Mm-hmm.
playful, and this has been taken out of context. Yes, I understand that. But I also feel that we have to sort of, come into, like, place ourselves in Caroline's shoes. That something really triggered her there. It was
Yeah.
really triggering for her, and because we never know what people have gone through or, what's happened in their life in the past, we can't minimize that. We can't say, oh, Caroline is prude and she didn't get the joke and she took it, took it too serious. No, it was triggering. I do feel that something's up with Caroline here. I can tell you guys, Brandi is really upset about this. She's replaying every friggin' moment, every little word, every single thing that happened that night.
Yeah.
There is a male here that Brandi is either talking to, or it's probably, my guide said, a producer. Okay, so there is not that the producer was present, but there was a producer that has heard the audio. Maybe the mic was on, and
Right.
did something like that. There is a male who's going to play a key role in this. Okay, who's going to be very instrumental in this whole situation. This male, this son. I have to say that at the end, in a way, Brandi's going to be vindicated. Yeah. So in the end of this whole thing, I think we will be able to see both sides. It's not going to be like Brandi is the villain 100%. But obviously, we all think that because we don't have the full story. We don't know what happened. We just have two sides of a story. But that's what I feel. This is what I feel happened.
No, I agree. I agree. I feel like there's a learning lesson here for Brandi. I do feel like she'll be vindicated. I don't think she'd be this loud, and I don't think her lawyer would be so specific in
Agreed.
asking for this video footage if, in fact, there wasn't some sort of proof that would vindicate her. So, however, on the flip side of that, and I've said this before, Brandi's behavior will prohibit her from making money if she doesn't create some boundaries when she films. Because I will say, I know those producers, they pull her in because they need something exciting in the moment, right?
Yeah.
But they also take advantage of her and then hang her out to dry, case in point.
Mm-hmm.
In this situation, because also in this letter, it states that she alleges that the producer called her earlier before they shot that evening and said, we need something exciting for this party tonight. So when you, as the production company, are knowingly putting that in someone's ear who can be unhinged, specifically when they've had a few drinks, okay? You know what you're getting yourself into. You know what you've booked in terms of your talent. But it is still Brandi's responsibility to curb that, because she has to remember that maybe then that means you don't get as drunk on camera, because like they will edit you in a messy way because they know people will watch it. They don't care what the audience says to her. But the truth is, her kids' relationships with her is going to drastically get worse if she continues getting put in situations where the production or the powers that be control her narrative because she gives it to them.
Yeah.
They can't use what they don't have. And frankly, and then I'll stop ranting, is that I like Brandi. I always have. I've always felt that she was wronged, wasn't really nice the way she was treated in the beginning. However, she's gotten to a place now where she could really stabilize this and make it something great for herself. Whether she's on Beverly Hills or not, she could do reality TV, she can continue the podcast, she's got other things. It's just this gets ahead of everything else that she's doing. And nobody wants to be who's going to want to sponsor her at this point until this is
No,
clear. So this is stopping her from making income in some capacity.
agree.
So
And I like Brandi too, I have to say, because I have tuned into her energy. Yes, she's unhinged, no filter, she has no boundaries, all that, but deep down she is a good person. And she is to quote Heather Gay, a ride or die. I do feel she's a ride or die. Like, she's no Raquel. She's not going to sleep. She might like to sleep with other men, but not your man. So Brandi, I feel she has a sense of loyalty there that I admire. And I agree with you. She needs to learn boundaries. This is a hard lesson for her to learn. Maybe she is going through a Saturn return. I don't know how old she is. She's in her 50s, right? Is she? Or not yet?
not yet, I don't think. Or
All
maybe.
right. But she's going through, it will be interesting to see her chart, to see, because Saturn is in Pisces right now. So it will be interesting. This all happened when Saturn was in Aquarius, but while Saturn was moving and entering Pisces. So that will be interesting to see her chart regarding that. But I agree with you, Georgio. This is a hard, tough lesson for her to learn, but it will teach her boundaries because unlike Sandoval, she learns. I feel that she learns from her mistakes.
I think she does. I mean, she definitely has grown
Yeah.
from the beginning of her journey on reality television, but it's just these types of things is where it gets a little too messy and it's not as easy to undo in terms of the viewer's perception of you as a person. So the damage is done, but I hope she can vindicate herself if this is in fact true, that this video and audio would prove that she didn't do those things, then great. But I still think it's going to leave a lasting impact.
Of course it is. It always does, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
always does, and when you're a public figure, that's why you've got to be extra careful what you put out there because it sticks forever. It's out on the internet. People won't forget. We might forget, but there's certain other groups of people that won't forget because they just don't want to forget.
Yes.
So it's I hope Brandi learns from that. I do feel that she will be vindicated. So I'm glad to hear that. I hope also Caroline gets the closure that she needs from that because obviously she was disturbed and shaken by that experience. But wasn't Alex McCord in front, Georgio, or am I mistaken? Wasn't someone who was in the bathroom and they opened the door?
Yeah, it was something I think it was Alex McCord or something. And I think that's why they want the footage because I think there's a lot of context that they're saying would prove that was not the environment where like that Brandi trapped Caroline in the bathroom and
look at that. Her moon is Pisces and her rising is Aqua.
That's wow. I didn't know she was an Aquarius.
Her rising is Aqua. So, yeah, but her moon. Oh, so she's a Scorpio sun, moon in Pisces, water, double water, and then Aqua. She's someone who's very she doesn't she goes with the wind. Like she goes with her emotions. She's very much about how do I feel, and I like this person today because that's how they make me feel. Tomorrow I might not like them, and I might behave in a different way. But it's interesting, Pisces and Aqua, and this happened while Saturn was moving from Aqua to Pisces, and boom, boom, boom. Saturn, it will be interesting if you can check your Saturn. That would be really interesting. Thank you so much, EHS. But quick question. Alex McCord, if she was a witness, how come she stayed quiet?
I'm thinking it has a lot more to do with people not publicly saying anything because of the legalities involved. If they say something that could be, that's my guess. But yeah, I mean, if there's people that were witness to the evening, now the reports did say that most of the women were behind Brandi, like they didn't feel that was the case. But that two things can be true. Brandy could have acted in a way that then triggered Caroline, and Caroline's entitled to be triggered and feel the way she feels. Now, but does that necessarily mean that Brandy purposefully went out to create some sort of harm? No, but like, yeah, it's hopefully it gets cleared up soon.
Saturn is in Gemini. What a mess.
Boy.
She can't take. Here's the thing. She has a hard time taking responsibility for her actions, not because she's afraid of responsibility, because she has a hard time seeing, like, sort of like coming out of her and seeing her actions from the outside. She's got a hard time doing that with that Gemini, and it's always like trying to find balance. She's all over the place with that Saturn in Gemini, because it is about structure and responsibility, and Saturn in Gemini, it's not very structured, so it's a mess. But if you know that about Brandy, you can forgive that about Brandy, because there are other quality, like everyone else. Okay, even Sandoval, he is the most hated man right now in the Bravo verse, but we can still think of some good qualities that Sandoval has, can't we?
Yeah,
We
of
can do that.
course.
And that's what we should focus on the positive too. Just one last thing, because Storm wants to hear what we all think. Could it be karma for the Denise allegations, which is interesting about the whole. Well, we never talked about this, Georgio. Do you believe that something indeed happened between Denise and Brandy?
Yeah, I do. I think here's the thing. Brandy, I believe, brings out, I believe that there are people like this, that they have the energy to bring out certain sides of people
Yeah.
that maybe are not as out there in day to day. I say that to say I do believe that Denise and Brandy hooked up in some capacity. I also believe that Denise does not want that to be her public image, and
Mhm.
therefore would do anything to squash the story, because that would not make her look uh
Yeah.
good in the eyes of the public. She's a mom. She's, this is the behavior you're displaying. Like, this isn't going to help with booking jobs. I think
Sure.
that it got to her head, and so she went into cleanup mode. Unfortunately, I think Brandy doesn't get the assignment sometimes in these situations, where it's like, maybe it wasn't verbalized. Like, don't make this a loud statement, please.
Mm,
And so therefore she runs with it. And I think that she goes off of what you give her. And at some point, it's clear that Caroline was okay with this behavior. And somewhere along the way in Caroline's mind, it triggered her into
yeah.
some sort of PTSD from something that occurred to her a long time ago. And unfortunately, Brandy again is in the hot seat, because she's the one that was seen at the last part,
Yeah.
was seen at the
Mm.
crime, the scene of the crime or whatever. So I think it's just like, it's a game being on these shows, because you want to give it your best shot. You want to entertain the production. You want them to keep booking you. But there's some women that are in situations where they get really sexual, and then they regret it, and then they try to blame the other person somehow. And I think that's what ends up happening sometimes with Brandy, like with Denise. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I do believe that behind closed doors, Denise and her husband have a different. There's a lot of these like understandings that a lot of
Yes.
Hollywood couples have.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and play coy and be like, oh, Aaron would have been devastated. Aaron probably knew about it, and was fine with it. However,
Mm.
she was not okay with the world knowing about it and her getting down like that, which I can
Those
understand to some degree. But
Yeah, those are the boundaries that Brandy has to learn. And I do feel, and especially back then, remember the slap with Lisa Vanderpump? Like,
Yep.
where I remember these bits and bobs where she's totally, crossed that line. But what I can see in Brandy is that I do genuinely think that because she was so blindsided by what happened with her ex-husband, with Eddie, and all that, and she was left on her own basically to raise her two children alone, and she had to hustle. And I do think that what we're seeing this is this very exaggerated, no boundaries, no filter Brandy that is coming from a very, very, very deep a place of trauma, a place of pain and insecurity. It is just that's how it comes out in Brandy. Other people are more they have more self-control, so they're able to deal with that pain and that insecurity. I think Brandy just takes it there because she wants to be on TV because that's how she makes good money and that's how she can provide for her kids. As a mom, I 100% get it. But again, Georgio, I agree with everything that you say. It's all about for her to find a balance in her life, boundaries, and read the friggin' room, Brandy. You're a Scorpio. You're very intuitive. You can read people just like that. Read people. Not everyone's like that, you know? Like you can like
Yeah,
if Lala was there at the trip and Brandy did that to Lala, that would be friggin' great TV because Lala would go with it because she knows how TV works. She's a single mom now. She has to hustle. She's gonna make sure that the paycheck is in her mailbox every friggin' month. So, Brandy, you chose the wrong friggin' person. It's just, yeah.
always does it to the wrong people. I know. It's like pick the right vibe. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's not the vibe. It's like Caroline's like someone's aunt, mom, like.
And Caroline means business. Haven't you watched New Jersey? She means friggin' business, right? She's not gonna let this go. So just saying. Yeah, Amber says it right. You beast. I miss Eileen, by the way.
I do too.
Don't you miss the old cast of Beverly Hills?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what this season brings. Looks like, things are pretty I'm thinking this season they're gonna keep a lot of the drama away from social media. I think they're really gonna try to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And maybe Bravo has to re-examine their contracts, the contracts that they send out to housewives if they want to avoid these types of litigations, these types of situations. Then maybe there are some, like, I don't know, like I think that they have to sit down their legal team and just make sure that they've got all of their legal holes covered, because nowadays we live at times where we have to be so PC that you don't know what PC is. I open my mouth sometimes and I'm like, was that not PC? Am I gonna get in trouble? And I don't mean here on YouTube, I just mean in my life.
Yeah.
Because this is how it is. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. The changes from everyone. So I think this is to end this show by saying that it's good to self-reflect, to look inwards, understand yourself, understand your triggers, understand where your pain, your insecurity is coming from, to start working on it. I also think that Bravo needs to sit down and sort of reevaluate and see where their shows are going, what direction they're going, and what kind of audience do they want to have? Do they want audience that are just there for the drama, or do they want like loyal fans of these shows that are invested in the shows and the storylines, not necessarily in the negative and shitty drama that's been going on? Just a lot of thoughts, a lot of things to think about from all sides. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll be here. We're here every Sunday, so we'll be talking about it, whatever it is. And I don't know. Any last words? Anything else that you want to say before we go?
No, just I hope everyone has an amazing week ahead, and we will continue to update you on everything that we find out about the topics that we've talked about, and I'm sure that this will still be in the news next week. So I'm sure there'll be more updates to keep you guys abreast on.
I love it. You've been saying that lately a lot. We'll keep
abreast.
You abreast.
I love it.
It's such an old-fashioned saying. I love it.
It is. It makes you feel a little bit more fancy.
It does. You feel so posh, and so
Absolutely.
I've been reading a lot of literature in my library.
Yes, actually, I need to. Well, and Paris Hilton's book comes out on the 14th, and I had
Oh.
pre-ordered it, so I'm very excited to read it. Thinking about possibly doing a book club around it, like maybe doing like
So a book club is a breast.
a book club is a breast. So YouTube, if you wanna join the book club, I'm thinking about putting one together for the book. So
Ooh, I like that.
stay tuned.
I like that. Yeah, so stay tuned. Well, everyone, that's it for today. We'll be back next Sunday with Georgio. Tomorrow, I'm going live for our members, and we're going to be looking into the Madeleine McCann. I'm sorry, I was supposed to have it last week. My son, do you know how many electronics my kids have destroyed? I mean, not on purpose, obviously accidentally, but yeah, I managed to save my laptop. So we're back on track. So tomorrow, if you're a member of the channel, you can join me live. I will be talking about Madeleine. I'll be doing a reading, and I'll be channeling her if she comes through. So that's going to be interesting. For those of you who are not members, I'm not going to leave you out. You're not going to be left out. In the next few days, I'm going to post that video, but edit it down. Okay. So the fun part about doing it live for members is that it's us. You can ask me anything. You can say anything during that. It's interactive. Okay. We're engaged. It's interactive. So I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a heavy one, but it's going to be good. And then on Friday, don't forget that I have Kiki with Jason on Up and Adam 2 channel. But, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube you do as well, but check the community tab. We'll let you know.
I'll need to pop up on that Wiki.
You should come in next Friday.
Yes, I think I should.
Campfire Cake popped in last week.
Can you have a cocktail while you're doing it? Like a real cocktail?
If I'm not reading, I'll drink. It's fine. I can have like one drink. But if I'm reading the tarot, if I'm channeling, or if I'm doing anything like that, I don't touch alcohol. I just don't. But yeah, we'll be drinking. Definitely, Jason will be drinking next Friday. So you pop in with your cocktail.
Yeah, I will definitely pop in for that because that looks fun.
So that'll be fun, you guys. So join in, and maybe Campfire will pop in as well. So it will be the 4 of us. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
because he pops in on Friday. He's just making so much fun.
What time on Friday do you guys do it?
We do it at 1:30 EST.
Oh, fun.
But again, now it messes up with my schedule because it's different. Okay.
Well, I was just going to say next week, is that going to still be good for you, the 2 p.m.?
That'll be if we do it, we'll have to do it 3 p.m. next week. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we'll do it 3 p.m. next week, you guys. Only just for today and next week, and then when I catch up with the time difference, then we'll go back to regular programming. Yes.
Perfect. All right, guys.
So see you all soon.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
Lots of love. Bye.